been an evening of personal and creative storytelling at the University of Johannesburg, where a project piece titled The Moth took to the stage. The art event saw 5 people from different backgrounds share personal accounts and experiences of where they come from. Newzroom Afrika's Katleho Sekhotho joins us now live from UJ in Auckland Park with more details. Katleho, good evening and thank you for joining us. Take us through what this event is about and what audiences can expect to see.
A very good evening, Katleho. It's been an evening of intimate storytelling and sharing, really. It's been a full house here at the University of Johannesburg in Auckland Park, where audiences were allowed to listen to the stories of people who are really activists and advocates in their own lives, who were able to share a snippet of experiences they've been through, things they've seen, and experiences which have molded, shaped them, and changed their perspective in some shape or form. So the Moth was really, a project which brings together, the creative space. So directors led these storytellers or guided them and able to just help them shape their stories and to share them with audiences so that audiences can walk away feeling inspired and just, looking at their own lives and reflecting on the world around them. But I want to speak to the host of the event, and that's acclaimed poet and author Lebo Mashile. Really, it was a wonderful evening, Lebo. Why did you want to get involved in this amazing project?
To be honest, I'm a recent convert to the Moth. 6 months ago, I didn't know what the Moth was all about. But when I found out, I was blown away. It's quite singular in terms of their impact, their reach as an organization that promotes and archives storytelling. They've been going for nearly 3 decades now. They've archived 60,000 stories. They've got 100 million listeners every year to their podcast. They stage stories in cities around the world. They do 600 events a year. This is their second one in Joburg. So already, it's a global phenomenon to the extent that we were sold out like 8 days before this event even happened. As you said, we had a full house. The second tier of this theater was full, maximum capacity, and I performed in this theater many times. I've never seen it the way that it was tonight, which is incredible. So this organization is very special, and at the heart of it is the human connection that we have to narrative, to personal experiences, to stripping away the superfluous from how we see ourselves and just telling the experiences as they happen, And I think for activists, this is really important. It's a tool that allows people to get inside of a headline and see the what we hear happening around the world, from, the public health care crisis, to, poverty, to issues of access. When you give it a human face, then we're able to internalize and connect to it, and it becomes meaningful, far more meaningful than just kind of reading a headline.
Yeah. And certainly, when listening to the stories, you could think, I don't have a story, but listening to this, you might think, actually, I do have a story. Tell us about that everyone has a story.
Everyone has a story. It is the thing that's sitting right in front of your face that you don't see. And often you don't see it because you're busy living it. You don't realize how extraordinary what you're living is because this is your everyday life. It's pop and place for you. But when you share it with somebody else, you actually realize that this is phenomenal. This is not every day. But sometimes also the everyday does become extraordinary, bringing the big issues down to the micro, to the 2 people interacting, 1 person navigating their life and having an experience. It just opens up the opportunity for so much connection. And I think when people hear these stories in that way, it resonates immediately. As much as this theater was packed and filled with hundreds of people, it was also very intimate. It was also incredibly fulfilling. You could feel the scope and the range range of emotions. We all moved through the emotions of these stories at the same time. So there's a way in which storytelling also just collapses time and space and borders. And you can create intimacy in a theater with hundreds of people. Listening to one person, you could hear a pin drop. And nothing, as you said before, it's incredibly fulfilling.
Absolutely. And just a last one, Lebo, your message to the lone activist, to the isolated artist who has a story and who's struggling to tell it.
I think we are in a moment of cultural awakening. I think we're in an expansive moment, and maybe we don't see it because of all of the social ills that are happening and the economic upheaval and the political upheaval, and not just in South Africa but around the world. But we are in an extraordinary moment of awakening. Artists and activists are change agents. We are change agents in the world, and first and foremost, we are change agents in our own lives. And so many of us spend so much time giving to everybody else. Storytelling is also a way, harnessing your own story, developing and telling your own story also gives back to you. It says, I matter, beyond what I do for other people, beyond what I produce as an artist. Who I am and what I live matters. The private experiences that nobody sees when I'm on stage, they matter. And that's worthy of documenting and also worthy of sharing.
Thank you so much for that, Lebo. We'll leave it right there.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much. Katleho, you heard it there from poet, actress, author Lebo Mashile, just saying there, activists and advocates are agents of change. And this is what this evening has been about, just allowing people who've lived through some things to share their stories and to share it with an audience that walks away feeling inspired.